Known traveler digital identity. Some say it's coming, some say it's here. I'm here to say it's already been here and it happened to me. Today I detail what happened to me a year and a half ago with Air Canada and how it applies to the situation now or coming. Let's take a look. Okay guys, so Ryan here. This is going to be an interesting video today. This isn't going to be a normal one. This is going to be detailing my personal experience with Air Canada a year and a half ago. Now, of course, this has a lot to do with known traveler digital identity. Basically, kind of like a credit score to be able to travel. It's on its way. It's being implemented, but is it already here and has it happened to me? We're going to talk about that. But first, do what these lovely graphics say right down here. If you could please subscribe to my other social media channels, especially YouTube. YouTube is very crucial with me going on with these videos, and I would appreciate you subscribing to them because there's also some things at the end that you can see on YouTube that you can't see on Facebook. So please subscribe. Okay guys, here we go. This is going to be an interesting topic today. Now, of course, the talk of the town now is, will we be able to travel in Canada with digital ID? Possibly a social credit score style of identifying, your personal information, data sharing, and all that stuff. Well, I'm here to tell you that it already has happened, and it's been in place for a year and a half. I'm going to share you my personal story with Air Canada that happened November 2020. And then once I share that, we'll take you guys to fast forward to now to see, compare and contrast what happened back then as it's happening now, okay? We're gonna dive into this right now, guys. Here we go. Okay, so what I have here, I have an affidavit here that I'm going to read from, as well as insert my personal experiences as I recall them, because it's been a year and a half. I haven't thought about this every day, so my memory's a little foggy, but I will be reading from them here, as well as inserting my recollections as we go. And I'll be floating up a lot of things right over here so you can read and see exactly what I'm talking about, okay? So, without further ado, guys, here we go. Now, as you guys all know, I was banned from flying on Air Canada in November of 2020. And we're going to detail why I was banned by going through exactly what is written on my little affidavit I have here, as well as going through a highly controversial video that was used against me, the BC Fairies video. And then we're going to go forward to today and see how it relates to what's happening today. So, here we go, guys. So, on Sunday, November 22nd, this is 2020, okay? I purchased through my RBC Rewards 2 tickets to fly from Vancouver to Toronto. I was on my way to go see my Toronto friends and attend an event out there on the weekend. On the day in question of Friday, November 27th, I received a call from the Air Canada medical desk at 2:22 p.m. saying that my fitness for air travel form was approved for my flight. Now you had to provide 2 different documents. A medical note from a doctor, as well as fill out their own medical form, okay, for a mask exemption. Okay, that's what that was. This form is for people who are medically unable to wear a mask on their flights. Upon entering the airport, I scanned my barcode for my flight ticket twice, as it was not accepted both times. You scan manually, and then you go to the teller type person. I went to the manual check-in area instead to scan my barcode there. The first time, it was denied. The second time, it was accepted, but I was flagged at that point. The clerk phoned the medical desk. Now, at this point, I knew exactly what was going on. I was in my head thinking, okay, this has to do with social media, my activism, and Facebook posts. I knew it, but I didn't really say anything at the time. The clerk phoned the medical desk. They asked for my driver's license number as well as my address. So upon waiting, I was waiting for a good 5-10 minutes or so. The clerk then got off the phone and asked if I had any prior issues with Air Canada. I said no. Again, I knew what was going on through my mind at this point. She then said I was being denied my flight. She got a hold of the main corporate security man via phone, and I was asked to wait for him. Now at this point, this was the main security of, I can't remember if it was Air Canada or the airport, but I was waiting for a good 15-20 minutes right beyond the check-in point there. Okay, I was sitting down waiting. After waiting several minutes, he came and spoke with me. He said there were issues with my stance on masks, calling my views anti-mask. He did actually literally say that term to me. He asked to see my fitness for air travel forms as well as my doctor note. I had the exemption form available with me. He asked if my doctor was a random doctor or a family doctor. Now that does not matter, okay? Nowhere in their criteria, on their forms, does it say it has to be a family doctor, a valid doctor, or if it's, if it's a random doctor, a flyby doctor that you just went to willy-nilly. No. He was trying to get some information out of me that he did not deserve to know, okay? That criteria does not matter, okay? I had the exemption form available with me. Yeah, okay, yep. I said he wasn't a random doctor. He then asked me what my medical issue was. And of course, I said I'm under no legal obligation to disclose that information under the BC Human Rights Code. He has no need to know about that. Neither does Air Canada need to know that. Okay, it was just fill out a form. If you're approved, in which I was. He then went to talk to someone in Montreal to discuss my incident. Of course, again, I was waiting for a good, probably 15, 20 minutes at this point again. I was waiting for a good hour and a half. This whole incident took about an hour and 40 minutes total. Okay. So blank doctor, I'm not going to say the name, provided my exemption notice, and he informed me that the Air Canada Medical Office or Security had contacted him and questioned him on the reasons for my exemption. Like they need to know. They don't need to know the reasons, but they contacted him anyway. They also advised, blank name, that they had medical studies that said masks were fine for people problems, but that they would permit exemptions if it was for reasons of anxiety. I'm sorry, no, any reason, they don't need to even know the reason. Your medical history is private. If you are exempt, you are exempt. And I had the doctor's note and the form approved already at this point. But of course, we'll get into that a bit later. After waiting 15 or 20 minutes roughly, he came back and said I was still being denied my flight, even though I have all my documents signed and approved. He said they determined that I was a health threat to the other passengers on board. At this point, he was saying things like, well, we can't, if you're not going to be wearing a mask, you might be, saying to people, hey, take off your mask. You don't need to be wearing it because I hold anti-mask views. He thought I would be verbally abusing the other passengers, saying, take off your mask and everything. That's what he was saying to me as well at that point. Yeah, so they determined I was a health threat to other passengers on board. He brought up a BC Ferries video I did weeks ago showing how I was on board without a mask. Now, I'm going to stop this for just a few minutes here. I'm going to interject my BC Ferries video story here, and then I will continue on with my letter with what happened at Air Canada, because you guys need to know this, okay? So a few weeks prior to this, I did a Facebook Live video on board BC Ferries where I went on without wearing a mask. Why did I do this? Because at that point, this was when BC Ferries was really coming down. They were getting strict. They were having RCMP on the lower decks, making sure people, weren't getting out of their cars for whatever reason. Someone got arrested on BC Ferries, a few weeks ago prior at this point. So I was like, okay, well then I'm going to have to go there, won't I? So I was on my way to an event out in Duncan at this point. So, we obviously have to go on the ferry to get to Duncan. I live on the mainland. I was going to Vancouver Island. So I determined, okay, so I'm going to go on there. Now, prior to this, I did my homework. I researched what their mandatory mask policy was. And it said unequivocally that you are exempt, of course, for reasons under the Human Rights Code, and as well as if you are eating and drinking food, you are exempt from wearing a mask. That was their policy. I saw signs of it. I believe I might have even filmed it on my Facebook Live. I don't know, but I went to their site and it did say that unequivocally. So I knew, okay, if I adhere to that and I exert my rights under the BC Human Rights Code, I know exactly what to do. I know exactly what to say. And I did that. So I filmed myself for about an hour on BC Ferries, and I'll show tidbits of it here and there, right over in this lovely area here, as well as, right now, why don't I just, instead of explaining it, I'll show you guys a couple minutes of exactly what I did on BC Ferries right now. Check it out. What I'm going to be doing at all times, I'm going to be having this open right next to my mouth. So it'll So it's very obvious that I'm drinking something. Okay? Open all times. Because according to their policy, you are okay to not wear a mask if you are consuming food or drink. So I'm going to be consuming this at all times. Take a small sip as often as possible, whatever it takes. This will be right next to my mouth, okay? Also, going to have food on me. My other hand, open. I want to make this as obvious as possible that I'm consuming food and drink, okay? And if there's any confrontation with any passengers, I'm going to avoid it. This is not going to be an aggressive, hey, I'm exempt, hey, I'm eating food. No. We're flagged enough, okay? I don't want to draw any attention to myself. If there's any words being said to me, I'm just going to avoid it. Just keep walking, turn your head. Don't want any confrontation, nothing, okay? If any security guards talk to me, well, that's why I will have my mask in my pocket to show them, hey, at least I got it. Okay, and I'm going to be respectful toward them. I'm not going to get in their face. I'm not going to be like, oh, you don't know the law, or you don't know your rights, so you don't know the policy. No. You don't want to be flagged. Okay, I'm going to do whatever I can to divert attention from myself. Okay, and just be normal. Okay, so that's my plan. This is the plan that I'm taking. This is the route that I'm taking. The non-confrontational, mind your own business, be respectful route. There's many routes people can take, but I'm not taking that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be respectful and divert attention from me, okay? Okay, so as you heard from me right there, prior to me exiting my truck, I said unequivocally that I would be having a drink, having some food, and my demeanor was going to be calm, non-confrontational. I would not be getting into any confrontations. I would be polite, respectful. That is key going forward here, because in the Air Canada incident, the head of security said I would be displaying anti-mask views and verbally harassing people if I went up. And that is not the case, as was seen and heard in that clip of me on BC Ferries. So that's important to know going forward. Let's just show a little bit more of my trip on BC Ferries right now. Not that security guard to talk to us. No mask, see, no mask. Look at us, what the fuck are these things doing? Yeah. Okay, come on. Security. Thank you. Nothing, guys, nothing. They look at us, nothing? Yeah. So there's a bit of footage of me on BC Ferry. So that's what happened. So again, that was about an hour-long footage of me on BC Ferries without a mask, adhering to their policy of if you are eating or drinking, you are exempt from wearing a mask. And that's what I did. I showed people exactly how to do that with a calm, respectful demeanor. Okay? So, get back to my Air Canada incident about 3 weeks later. So again, he brought up a BC Ferries video I did weeks ago showing how I was on board without a mask. He said they know that I'm flying to attend an anti-mask rally in Toronto. He said they know my stance on masks in general. He said they didn't trust that I would remain on the flight without a bottle to my mouth drinking for several hours, as was their policy also. So here I am being flagged. I'm being predetermined as a health threat, even though I haven't done anything yet. I didn't even make it, I barely made it past the ticket barcode scan section. And I was already deemed guilty before being, or what is it? Innocent until proven guilty. I was guilty before being proven innocent. I haven't even done anything yet. And they're already saying, nope, you're going to be doing this, you're going to be doing that. So, at this point, okay, now I will fully admit, I did ask, what if I complied? What if I was to wear a mask? Would you still allow me on this flight? Okay. Now he then says, well, he asked how he could trust me given what was on the BC Ferries video, because that was their policy also. It was also Air Canada's policy that if you are eating or drinking, you do not have to wear a mask. So again, he assumed I was going to be doing that for the whole flight. Okay. So I said, you know, if they want to have surveillance on me, that's fine. He phoned the same people in Montreal again. So after a lengthy wait, after waiting another 15 minutes or so, he came back and again said that I would not be allowed to fly on Air Canada. He gave me a 4-page letter, which is actually I'm holding in my hands right now from Air Canada. He gave me a 4-page letter outlining the reasons why I was being denied access to my flight. At that point, I said to him that it seems that my beliefs, opinions, and views are the reasons why I am being denied access to my flight. He did not disagree. He gave me his business card as well. At that point, I left the airport. Now, there you have right there a prime example of how someone's personal beliefs, personal opinions, and activities outside of Air Canada, outside of flying, affected whether I was able to fly or not. The government did not approve of my opinions, my beliefs, my actions, my videos, my social media. Therefore, they used all those reasons to deny me my flight. And that was back November 27th, 2020. This stuff has already happened, you guys, okay? So, let's take this a step further. Now, these are, unfortunately, I can't show you because these pages are deemed personal and confidential. So I don't know what my legal rights are, legal obligations to know if I can post this online, if I can publish it, if I can show you guys this. I don't know. I looked into this for a good, 10, 15 minutes. I couldn't find anything to confirm or deny whether I can actually post this. So I was going to actually float them, over here. But I will not do that so as to be as, legally respectful as possible. However, I will paraphrase and I will read my opinion as to what was in the letter. But I will be paraphrasing in my own words. Okay? So, dated, and of course this was dated November 27th. Now, interesting, they gave me this letter. I was there for about an hour and a half. They cited the BC Ferries video, which I made 3 weeks prior to my arrival at Air Canada. They cited that. They produced this letter within an hour and a half of me showing up at the airport. Now, I have reason to believe they already had this pre-written up, pre-typed up, ready to give me. There's no way that they could go over a BC Ferries video on my Facebook in 1 hour, type this up, print it out, and give it to me in the next half hour. No. Okay, they knew I was coming. They had this prepared. They were already going to deny me. They were already watching me and surveilling me. There's no way they can have this ready in an hour and a half. Okay, so these are some of the reasons why Air Canada denied me my flight November 27th, 2020. They informed me that currently and or prior to flight and date, I had a mandate to protest the government of Canada, different orders and acts while at the airport and on board the flight. I don't know that I had a mandate. I had a doctor's note and an approved form by Air Canada filled out and approved. So I don't know this jargon. I don't know what they're getting at here, okay? This one, now, again, this is key, right? This is the big one right here. Again, this is November 2020. Now listen to this. Air Canada said that I strongly have anti-government views to the point that I was disregarding regulations of non-compliance to the government to prevent the spread of COVID. So right there, I was disagreeing with the government's stance. My words and actions were showcasing that, were reflective of that. My opinions and beliefs were reflective of that. But because I disagreed with the government, I was not allowed to fly. I posted on social media live a video of me on board the BC Ferries disregarding the mandatory mask policy by eating or drinking. I was not disregarding the policy, I was adhering to the policy. Their policy unequivocally stated, if you are eating or drinking, you are exempt. So that is a false statement by Air Canada. I apparently encouraged people to not comply with the mandatory mask policy by eating or drinking. Again, that is a false statement. I said to people what their policy is. They had a food and drink policy. If you are eating or drinking, you are exempt. Another false statement by Air Canada. I encouraged people to not comply with the mandatory mask policy, claiming they have a medical exemption. Guys, we all know that under the BC Human Rights Code, you are under no legal obligation to disclose your medical history to anyone, any business, any manager, any store, any employer, nothing. Your medical history is private and you do not have to disclose it. Okay? If you have a medical condition, that is exactly what you do. You cite the BC Human Rights Code and you do not have to give up your medical information to anybody. And what right does anyone need to know about your medical history? None. They have none. So again, a very questionary, very blurry statement by Air Canada on that one. I was seen to be not complying with mandatory mask regulations at public areas during I guess manifestations of people, and then putting the surrounding people's health and safety in jeopardy. Again, are these reasons to really deny people of flying, you know, what I do in my own personal and private life? Again, keep the stuff in mind. This was November 2020. Now this is a good one. This is a good one right here, guys. Stretch it out. Okay. Now, this is what they wanted me to do. This is what Air Canada requested of me. Okay. So they are advising that I'm denied, you know, carriage for Air Canada, Air Canada Rouge, Air Canada Express, until you convince Air Canada in writing is underlined, that you no longer pose a risk to the safety and comfort of its passengers and crew. They wanted me to actually apologize to them and in writing say, you know, I was wrong, okay, I won't do it again. I had to convince them that I was no longer a threat, that I won't do these prior actions again. They wanted me to convince them in writing. Sorry, Air Canada, no, you owe me an apology for making false statements and discriminating against me. No way will I ever apologize to you or anyone for adhering to our Charter of Rights and Freedoms and our BC Human Rights Code. Never. So that was November 27, 2020, guys. So, keeping this all in mind now, okay? So now that you know, Air Canada, you know, provided all their reasons to deny me a flight back in 2020. Let's take a look at what's happening now, what they're trying to officially implement right now, okay? Because they're trying to bring in this was it KTDI, Known Traveler Digital Identity, okay? Now, I don't know when it's going to be implemented. I don't know if it already is. I've just seen, you know, on social media the last couple days, you know, articles about it. So let's take a look at what this actually is. And keep in mind what happened to me in November 2020. Let's decide, is it being implemented? Or is it already here? Because I would say, guys, it's already here because like I just explained, it happened to me. But let's take a look at what they're talking about right now. KTDI enables consortium partners to access verifiable claims of a traveler's identity data so they can assess their credibility, optimize passenger processing, and reduce risk. So it already says right there, they're going to assess how credible you are. If they deem you credible, if they deem you worthy, if they like what you're all about, you might get privileges to fly, or you might get more privileges to fly. Right there. November 2020, already happened. KTDI allows individuals to manage their own profile. Oh, thank the Lord, we can make our own profile. We have power. We have power to do this ourselves. And collect digital attestations of their personal data, deciding what data to share and when. The more attestations a traveler accumulates and shares, the better consortium partners, governments, and other parties can provide a smooth and safe travel experience. So there you have right there. They're going to assess you. They're going to determine, of all the information that you can provide them, how credible you are, what you're like as a person, and they're going to determine on their own, you can have this service, you can fly here. I mean, this literally can be construed as a social credit score if you really look at it that way. Okay. Think about what is said on the KTDI website itself, and think about what happened to me a year and a half ago. This stuff is already here, okay? I was used as an example of it due to my activism and my stance, okay? It's already here. Now, what do we do about it? Well, I don't know, okay? I don't know if there's anything we can do about it. Policy is policy. It's not like you can go there and argue to an airport, to Air Canada, or Pearson Airport or wherever, and argue with rights and freedoms on this, because it most likely won't work. I guess we just don't fly. I don't know. But in terms of collecting our data, which they clearly have outright said that this is really what they're doing. They want to collect as much data to determine, a person's identity and confirm who we really are and assess credibility, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know what we can do going forward other than just to not do it. We might be looking at a world where Canadian citizens, some of us, will just not be flying again. I don't know. I'm not sure going forward what is going to be happening, what we can do. I don't know, okay? I do not know. But I do know that it's already here. It happened to me, and now it's just being more officially put out there, okay? So, to summarize, I was made an example of a year and a half ago. To me, in my opinion, this is the epitome of a social credit score, and this is what we're looking at going forward. And this is going to be affecting probably, tens, hundreds, thousands, maybe even more, maybe into the millions of Canadians who probably will not at some point, object to what's going, or not adhere to what's going on. So I hope you guys enjoyed my story. If you guys can please like, share, and subscribe to all my social media platforms, and please share this video to as many people as you can to get the story out of what's already happened, what is happening. People need to be aware that it's already happened. Please get this out to as many people as you can. And if you're on YouTube, unlike Facebook, YouTube, please go to this video right here, and then please click on this lovely video right here. Help me out here, and I will be back to share another controversial story as soon as I can. Thank you guys. Have a good day.